Hi, my friends. This is Pax Europiana, the podcast about peace in Europe, here from this Austrian castle, Schönbrunn, a great location to talk about peace. And unfortunately, not all conflicts can be settled so easily, and peace is good, is important, but we face some real confrontation with Russia today, and we have to be aware and to be clear about it. And this is my message and my video about Belarus and what to do. Since August 2020, we have a new situation, a non-recognized and rigged election, and president we recognize, a pro-Western president who is now touring the world, and the Belarusian president who is like again after 24 years or 25 years now, he is basically with brutal force keeping power in Belarus. And that's an absolute disaster. But unfortunately, our European policymakers and the West again is very confused in the messaging and also in our action. Because what's happening is she is now touring the whole Europe, and she is welcomed, but she is not so much welcomed as the real president in exile. And now even there is a demand to extradite her back. And we behave still as if Lukashenko would be the legitimate authority of that country. And he is not. He was not elected. He is a usurper now. He is a wild card. Yeah? It's a rogue regime under the control of Russia. It's basically annexed in everything but the name. It's basically a second Crimea case. Yeah? And this is anyhow long on the agenda that they do this Anschluss project with Belarus, and it more or less has happened. And there is no legitimate independent Belarus. We have to face these facts. And in a very clear Cold War logic, it's now she is, Mrs. Tikhanovskaya is the president-elect, yeah? And she will be based either in, I think in Vilnius is the best place, or in Brussels. Probably that's a decision we can discuss, but to recognize her fully as the president of the European Belarus. She will have also to get the funding and the authority by this recognition to build a government in exile. There is already one government in exile from the pre-communist times, and this is in Canada, so basically merge that or get some kind of unity, but allow her to form a government based in Vilnius or in Brussels, and this government is then for all extended purposes for us, for the West, for the Europeans and the Americans, the government of Belarus. And all the memberships Belarus has everywhere in the UN will be contested, neutralized by these contentious claims between the two contenders. And we will then integrate this free Belarus government in all the structures we have, and also conclude treaties with that government, with the new European Belarus government. And give them all the authorities of a government, like we did it in World War II with the Polish government. And this is the only way, because to think that Lukashenko will roll over and somehow give up is not the situation. This is a total ridiculous fiction that suddenly now Lukashenko, who was even usurping power much before Putin, it's not a 99 phenomenon, it's from the year 94 and even before. In 93 he faked basically these corruption charges against his predecessor, and then he claimed power in 94, and since then he has always faked and managed and stage managed this kind of prototype of fake democracy which Putin then has copied ultimately. And so that we will somehow see him retiring, handing power back to Mrs. Tikhanovskaya like that. You know, that's all a complete illusions. I don't know who can have such illusions. People who don't know, or people who think, oh yeah, Putin and Lukashenko, they really care for the world opinion. They think every day how to be legitimate presidents. Yes, how to fake legitimacy, yes. But they will never, in any case, abandon power voluntarily. So they have now the land, that's more or less in all extent and purposes. It's Russian annexed Belarus with a legitimate president, Mr. Lukashenko, and we cannot do anything about it. It's similar like after Budapest Revolution and Czech Revolution and the invasions of the Soviets. There is so little to be done against nuclear armed Russia. But we cannot recognize it. We don't have to meet the guy, obviously. We don't have to invite him, and we can recognize an alternative. We can fund this alternative. We can base it somewhere. We can empower her, invite her to all the institutions, to all the meeting, and make sure that once the time for democracy is coming, there is an alternative government, a real European Belarus government, and it can return to Minsk and take power in the medium-term future. Because otherwise it will be very difficult for one person to sustain this kind of legitimacy campaign. And we will then absolutely lose. And there is no compromise possible. Compromise always sounds nice. But what is the compromise? That we sacrifice the Mrs. Tsikhanovskaya, and ultimately someone will deliver her to Minsk, and she will be sentenced and ends up in jail, like all the other opposition leaders. Do you want that? Is that the Europe we want, doing such kind of decisions? And keeping this kind of alternative situation alive without real legal status and without funding is also a kind of impossibility. So we are in the second Cold War, and we cannot ignore it simply by the fact that we don't want it. When one side declares war, you are in war. It's like that. And the best way is basically they can keep the land. Lukashenko can keep the land. We cannot take it from him anyhow, and we would never want to take it from him. But he is now the kind of dictator of this annexed Belarus, and he has no legitimacy. We don't invest there, we don't help him, we cut the ties, and we recognize the alternative government, and it's based in Vilnius or Brussels, what's more convenient. It's probably safer in Brussels, but maybe more support there in Vilnius. Build a building for it and make it a 10-year project if it's needed. And then someday there will be democracy in Belarus, and then it's ready. And we offer everybody who wants to come from Belarus the residence rights, labor market access, support mechanisms, social assistance, integration into the EU labor market. And then we get more and more of the people, and they keep the land. And in the meantime, we stop all this kind of imports of the state companies which keep this Belarusian fiction of a Lukashenko regime, this terror regime, alive by us buying steel, petrol and Kali exports from the Belarusians. So I think that's the better way to do it. It's more realistic. It will work. I'm confident, and it will escalate a little bit the situation with Russia, but the Russians will also understand that we are not just for breakfast, that we are really back. If we are really back, that needs to be seen, and these are tough guys over there. They have seen a lot of brutality, violence. Putin has come to power by war in Chechnya. It's not that they have any kind of conscious or kind of good idea, and they are used to war, they are used to confrontation. It will take, in order to intimidate them, it will take some action and some credibility, because otherwise it will be this initial drive of Biden will basically fade away. And then we will give up on Mrs. Tikhanovskaya, like we have given up on so many of the opposition leaders in the last 25 years. And then she will be somehow probably meet a car accident by some by some secret service of Belarus. And then we will tweet about how sad it is, and it's gone. And that's exactly the level of things that we will face. And if we don't help really seriously and treat her like the European Belarusian government and give her the resources to do that, and the credibility and the international standing. It will be a land without land, that's true, but there will be more and more people going for that option, and then maybe Belarus will do a wall. Good, we have also survived that one in the case of Eastern Germany. And this is unfortunate, everything. I'm not the first who is jubilating for such solutions. They are as well resulting in a lot of problematic issues. But for Belarus, it's the best way to do it. and I think we are actually morally obliged to do it. And not doing it will lead to a lot of tragic consequences, and I would be very sorry to make a video in 1 year and to remind you that I said this already, and I say it since August 2020 all the time on Twitter. Unfortunately, there is little wisdom and little courage in European policy making, but maybe now with Biden and America back, there is hope that we also discover courage and our values back again. Let's hope. For European Belarus. That's the future of Belarus anyhow, out of many reasons, but the question is how long it will take. And we have to prepare for this medium-term struggle, because it is a medium-term struggle, and that's my call. Support Mrs. Tikhanovskaya as president of European Belarus, give her the resources and the funding and the legitimacy she needs, and then let's settle that maybe in Vilnius, maybe in Brussels, but for the next 10 years we should be ready to make this form of European Belarusian government support. Thanks a lot. Bye.